Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. Okay. Hello. Hi. Okay. I saw a lot of emotional posts on um the concert. My dog is here somewhere in my room. I'm going to try and coax him out. You want to come here? You want to say hi? He's really way under, like on the other end of the bed. Sorry. Okay. I hit my head. Um okay, here he is. Come on. Come on, say hi. Come on. Say hi first before you lie down. You say hi. You're not saying hi though. Show your face. He's tired because yesterday he went to the park, and then this morning my mom told me that he kind of leads the way where he wants to go, and he sort of just pulls my mom wherever he wants to go. And he went to the small park, my mom said. So he spent like another hour chasing squirrels. So he's tired again. You want to lie down? Okay. Okay, baby. Okay, okay. There you go. So he's kind of tired, right? Hi, everybody. Um, Robin, Hanako Grace, Juan, Nadira, Robin, Lisa Parker, Amy, Robin Salmart, Lindsay, Gloria, Kay, Nadira, Joyful One, Ophelia, Carol, Z Arashi, Amy C, Rachel, Carol Faye, Lisa, Susan, Sarah, Carla Girl. Carla, your article is published. Rachel, Portia Lyle, I am Claudia, Carla Girl, Hanako Grace, Amy, Susan, OSP, Leia, and the Big Night, Dawn Marie, The Real FS, Michelle Maibel, Neil Vanille, Letitia, Athulia, Athulia, Athulia Jose, Michelle Santiago, Robin Bryce, Lisa Parker. Hi, Amy. My weekend was interesting. Halina, Christy, Z Arashi, Bang Luna, Carol, Michelle Maibel, Seda. Yes, the beautiful snobbish Debak is here. Christina is on X. Hello, Christina. Why ouch, Susan? Are you hurt? Victoria, squirrel, yeah. He was chasing squirrels. We have a new trick with the squirrels. Michelle Maibel, Rory, Pia, Christy, Bekoy, Beth Good, Lightning Day, Hanako Grace, Purple Nabi, Ophelia, I Carmi, Lightning Day, I am Gigi, Christina, Seda. Future's gonna be okay. It is gonna be okay. Um, Dodger Girl, Rachel Loftus, Kez M, Seda, da-da-da-da, Nadira, Arlene, Maritz, Beth Good, Mina, Ronan, Maritz, Lorena, Maldalagan, Drummer Squirrel, Arlene. I think I've said hi to everybody. These are repeats. Ness, Dulce, Beth Good. Okay. Hi, everybody. How is everybody? Hi from Denmark. We haven't, so well, it's not really new. Um, I started bringing some nuts into to the park to get the squirrels to come to me. They would only come to me just like high enough so that I reach out, of course, and there is absolutely no intention to hurt them, just so they would hang around. And so Deba could be entertained. Some squirrels, though, they really like chasing Debak or they like being chased by Debak. So I bring nuts and then I feed the squirrels in the park. He's never actually, he doesn't have the intention of hurting them or anything because he's actually gone. I've observed him when he would approach a squirrel, when he knows that he can get the squirrel, he would actually slow down. Like if he knows he can catch it, he would slow down. So he would wait until the squirrel's actually running before he runs after them. So that I know that he has no intention of he just likes chasing them. He just wants to play, but not really to hurt them. Um, I sprang from row one, section 234. Oh wow, yeah. So he's very tired. But the whenever he goes out with my mom in the smaller park, they don't bring anything. So, um, hi Fairly, hi Donita. So did you start celebrating Christmas holiday yet? Not yet. So we have 6 more days to go, six or seven, and then I'll start greeting everybody Merry Christmas. So September 1 is when we start. BTS is gonna show out come LA SoFi. I just know. I know. I mean, this is their second home, I would assume. So I hope they really have, and I hope that we actually give them a good time. I hope there is no rain, but I also hope that it's not gonna be that hot, that warm, because we want them to be comfortable. So I will be in the suite day two. I'm gonna join everybody in the suite in on day two. Day one, I'm gonna be on the floor. I actually still don't have tickets for day three or day four, but I think I'm gonna get one way or another. And then once I'm planning to actually buy one ticket that is like, I don't know, like 200, 300 level. It's a different experience when you're kind of high up there. And then if I can get sound check ticket for, or not even sound check, if it's just like C100 level, something like that, then I'll get it for the last day. And then yeah, the reason I'm waiting is I want to see the view from the suite. I want to see how far I am. I need to have one day when I'm like, I think in the hundreds level, so that I'm comfortable and I can still see them like pretty close. So yeah. New Jersey concert was your very first BTX. You don't have a ticket yet for day three and day four. For day three and day four, do you have to pay for sound check? It's a VIP. Yes. So on when they release the tickets, there's the VIP section. So you yes, you have to pay for them. So I'm hoping to find an army who's just selling it at cost because I don't like buying um from scalpers. So I'm hoping, but I want to see how far s- the the actual like the suite is first, and then I'll decide. I will be in 500s for JK. We just wanted to be in the building. Day two is for the suite, and day three and four in the 300s. I might go for, I don't know, like maybe 300s, 200s for day three. And then day four, I I'm hoping hundreds level. If I see like floor, but it is like row five, I'll probably get it. Let's see. My inner accountant wouldn't let me pay for 100 section in LA. I had to wrestle for the 200 seats. I think I will wait last minute because usually there are some who are just trying to like get rid of their tickets. So I'll wait for that last minute tickets. I'm still hoping to get Friday Chicago, but scalpers. Wait, one. I have Chicago ticket. I have one, but I can't remember the date. I just bought my online live streaming LA for 4 days today. Oh, great. Yeah. I will buy. And I guess I'm just gonna watch the replay and record that. I like keeping it just for myself. So it's been an interesting weekend for me. I don't know how much I can share though. Wait. I would love to go again and be on the lower level. So I would like to recommend everyone. It's an advantage when it's a hometown concert. You can wait till last minute. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's an advantage. The I really don't like LA in general. I mean, when you do concerts here, because it's just so inconvenient. It's like, I mean, for Vegas, for example, the entire city is actually designed for experiences like this. So it's so convenient. You can just walk to the venue. In LA, it's not like the SoFi is actually in the middle of a residential area, and then there's a small commercial area. And it's like, so it's so inconvenient. The last time I watched a concert in SoFi, which I think was the PTD, was it? I was in the parking lot for about an hour and a half trying to go out. That's just how unreasonable it is. So, I had floor on D2 Toronto in the middle of the section. My neck and shoulders were aching from looking up at the screen though, but a great time. Yeah, that's why I have my elevator shoes. That has like really been a great investment for me. So I have it's 8 inches. Um, the last time that I used it was for Vegas because on the last day, I was in the floor. I did the sound check, and we were pretty like at the back. We were like, I don't know, like 20s or something. And there were so many people in front of me who were way taller that they would have just completely blocked my view. So having that 8 inches actually was one of the best investments I've ever made. I can never wear it. um, like in any other day, at any other instance, for any other occasion, just really for concerts, but it's worth it. Like that when I used it for the first time for Jin, like I could see him very very clear, and I was on the floor. And then the same thing for BTS, for PTD, for not PTD but for Arirang, for Vegas. I could see them clearly. Like I don't have to break my neck just to be able to see them. Do you carry them in? Yeah, I carry them in. I try to make it easy in the process. I already have it in my hand. I don't put it in a bag or something. I just carry it so that everyone knows. And then I'm wearing usually flip-flops. If I'm in a hotel, I would usually wear the hotel slippers so that it's comfortable for me to walk in. But then my friend told me that I can buy something really thin in Amazon, which I'm going to. So yeah, I carry them in, and then I just tell the security like that's my shoes. And they're like, sometimes they're weirded out. In Vegas, excuse me, it actually the scanner, yeah, it went off because of the shoes. But I was like, that's the shoes. That's what I'm gonna be wearing. They kind of understand. They were like, okay, fine, whatever. So yeah. Even 8 inches wouldn't have helped in my row. There was a fellow ahead of me who's 7 feet tall. Well, yeah, I guess if he's 7 feet tall, then there's nothing you can do. But for me, in all the instances that I've used it, it has worked. I hope it continues to work. I'm sure at some point I'll encounter that where I will come across someone who's like 7 feet or 6'8" or whatever. It will be way taller. I'm sure that's gonna happen. Um, okay. When when your elevator, I envision a little Ferlin way up in the air. I've had like more than probably 10 people take a photo of my shoes, of me wearing it. And like I keep on telling people like don't push me or anything cuz I can't move. I'm just going to fall on the floor. If you want to embarrass me when I'm wearing that shoes, just push me because I'm just going to fall on the floor. So I keep on telling everybody like don't touch me because I have absolutely no balance here. It's so hard. It's not very comfortable when you're wearing them, but for the purpose of why I bought them, it actually works. Okay. So all right, I have 2 more minutes before I start. So we'll talk about BTS. I had a conversation about BTS and what they did with some of my Korean friends, and they gave me some really interesting inputs. So I'm going to discuss that briefly, and then maybe I don't know, maybe High Boy or someone who's actually local maybe can pick it up and maybe explain it further because it's very cultural and very very interesting. But anyway, so I did watch. If you can, please take the time to watch the vlog of Yunjin. She did a vlog for when she went to the song camp of Le Seraphim. It was very interesting because she was the one who actually not demanded but told the agency that this time she actually wants to be involved from the song camp, not just from when the song is done and then it's given to them. Because apparently, according to her description, they would get the song, um, and then when it goes to Korea, they'll rework it as a group. So the lyrics or something. So they've kind of always been involved in that, but usually they will rework the song once it gets to Korea. This time, she wanted to be involved in the song camp from the very beginning. So she, I think, spent like a week in LA doing the song camp with all the other songwriters here in LA. She documented that. And it was just very interesting because she said that it was that she went here, she went to LA the same time Cordis was here back in October working on their second album. So yeah, so the she actually met them. She brought them some goodies because it was Chuseok. And then, but it was interesting how she was going through the process because she said it was the very first time that she's actually she was going to be involved in the development of the song from the very beginning. And she said on the first day, she said, "This is my first time." So she wasn't really expecting she was going to contribute. What she simply wanted to do was be there to sort of explain to everybody what the songs actually meant for them. So the system was that she sat down with the album came about because she sat down with the members, and then she talked with them one by one, and then that's how they kind of developed the concept of the album. And then from there she created a brief, edited by the agency, given to the songwriters, and so the songwriters would build the songs around the stories that they wanted to say and messages they wanted to communicate. And then again, once in the old system, once it actually goes to go back to Korea, once the songs are done, it goes back to Korea. That's when they'll make the changes. What she did this time was actually go to LA as well and then sit down during the sessions. And on the first day, she said, I wasn't really expecting to contribute because she just wanted to make sure that the the story is communicated, that people, the songwriters actually know who Le Seraphim is, like understand their story, what they actually went through, specifically during the hate train during that year when everyone was just going after them. And then how they recovered, where they are right now. She wanted that storytelling to be more personal because it's different when you're just reading it, right? When you're just reading it like it's a presentation versus someone is sitting there telling you the story. It becomes more human. The story becomes more human. So she said that in the first day, that's kind of what she did. And then on the second, all the way until the last day, she was there for 6 more days. That's when she heavily contributed into the creation of the song. So it was interesting to see. So if you can just watch the vlog, it's very, very interesting. And also, it was kind of like, it was, Le Seraphim themselves actually have said that among the members, it's actually really Yunjin who's so interested in production, in songwriting. So it's not really surprising that he's the one who's actually getting involved in the creation of the songs. It's just interesting that she's actually not the leader. Cheon is the Chewon, not Cheon. Chewon is actually the leader. So I guess for Lister FM, there are two sort of pillars. You have the leader of the group, and then you have the creative pillar, which is Yunjin. Because usually it's one and the same, right? Like for BTS, you know that RM is one of the three pillars, and he's also the leader. And Martin is that one for um Cordis. So this one is kind of a different like setup for them. Just interesting. So if you can watch, it's about 20 minutes. She stayed in LA for 20 minutes. It was like uh insightful to see her go through the process of actually creating the songs. K-pop is controlled too much by the company. It's like as long as they're in contract with the company, they have no right to date for one. Um, the, high groups have never really talked about the no dating rule. They've never really discussed it. The only time Cordis has actually sort of hinted towards it, but they said that it was more them not having the time to do it because they're so busy. We will get an August D version of Le Seraphim. Yeah, this album is just chef's kiss. Like if you listen to this album, it's so like the best they've ever had so far. Um I would, yeah, I would actually, my favorite my favorite song that they've ever written, that they've ever released, is Ash. So I don't know if you've heard that song, but that was from their previous album, but that was kind of like their rebirth. Favorite song of all time of mine from them. But in the for its entirety, this album is, I think, the best that they've ever had. Yes, Le Seraphim, smart and talented. Hybe doesn't really have a no dating rule. They just don't publicize their significant others. Yeah, it's like, who was that who said it? I think it was Songyeon. It was probably Songyeon. Maybe Songyeon or Kono who said that, because they were asked like, why do you not have like any love song in your album? It's just like, because we don't have time to date. So he said that's the only reason. They said that maybe we're gonna try and date someday, just so we can write some songs. So it doesn't seem like they have a no dating rule. It doesn't seem like they have a no dating rule. It seems like they're just too busy to actually date. And I think because they are very much educated about, we know this, that in the program of Hybe, they're very much educated on the consequences of social media, of exposure, and also how that can affect your family, the people that you care for, your friendships. I think they're more careful because they're aware of the consequence of that. So yeah. All right. So let's get to it. Do you have any questions? Ash and Blue Flame are my favorites. Yeah, Ash is so good. Like that, I think in terms of message, in terms of melody, the beat, it's like that is just the best. I just really love songs that are like double entendre. I love it when it's poetic. I love it when there is a big idea behind the song. And all of that has it. Like that song, like all of it is in that song. It's double entendre. There's poetry in it. The idea is big. Like, and the melody is just right, like everything. So listen to it if you haven't already. Um, Cat's Eye verbally acknowledged two members being queer. Yeah. Uh, let's leave that to them. Yes, for the most part, they're different from the average K-pop company. I only have Ash on my playlist. Ash, I love Yunjin's solo song as well, Blessing in Disguise. I hope she releases another one. Okay, so we have three things. One is the BTS. So as I've said, I had a dinner for after a long time. I finally had dinner with some of my Korean friends. And we actually talked about this because even they were very surprised about what BTS did. Of course, I can't communicate their candor and like a lot of the things that they said, but I picked up some of the cultural stuff that I think I can communicate. And then I hope like someone who's local, maybe High Boy, can further discuss the cultural nuances of that. We're going to talk about the Grammys, what they're trying to do, how it really relates to BTS. But we're not going to be talking about like how awful they are or whatever. It's really more about BTS. It just so happened that they're in the mix of this. Do you want to go down? Do you want to go down? Say bye bye. Say bye bye. I love you. I love you. Mhm. Do you want to go out? Let me just open the door. He made you yawn. He's always yawning. Like before he transitions to anything else, he would stretch and then he would yawn. And then he's ready to go. So if I'm gonna pick him up or we're leaving, if I'm putting on his leash on him, he would stretch first and then yawn and then he's ready. Like that's his that's how he picks up momentum. Okay. So we're going to be talking about that. And then I do have some emotional picks. It's just that it's not as organized as it used to, but I think you're going to be happy. So we have some of that. And then we're going to be talking about news and updates. All right. Before we excuse me, sorry. Before we proceed, you have questions. Don't you love his picture? He has so many pictures. Some of his fan bases sent me like a lot of his. I'm talking about V's picture. They sent me a lot of his pictures with the boxy smile. I haven't seen it in a while, so whenever I see it, it's just like you can't help but smile with him. It's so contagious. You know that like that's one of his like purest, truest smile in the world. Okay. Yeah, the boxy smile. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while. I don't know why, but they've sent me like just last week, like many of his fan bases just sent me a bunch of his boxy smile pictures. And I'm like, oh my God, this is such a treat. Okay. He is, yeah, he's stunningly handsome. Okay, let's talk about it. So they have a an element in their culture called the nunchi. So that's how they call it. And it's essentially the ability to read the room. So they kind of, because you know that it's a very communal society, they're very particular about maintaining like peace in the community. And when they enter a room, it's kind of the same. They're very, very much conscious about how people are feeling, and they don't like inconveniencing people. I'm not saying that they are pushovers. They definitely are not. We have seen that in action, how much of a fighter they are. But as much as possible, they kind of like maintaining peace. They don't like disturbing things. In fact, this part of their culture is one of the most widely documented and studied in the US. That there have been so many things, so many studies that have been done on this element of their culture. This is one of them. So it says nunchi is critically important to them. Without it, a Korean appears immature. That's kind of like if all you do is center things on yourself, like just do things without thinking of other people, the perception is that you are immature rather than independent, something like that. I just want to emphasize that this does not mean that they are pushovers. We've seen how much of a fighter they are. They wouldn't have been in the position where they are right now if they don't know how to fight. Okay, just want to make that clear. So the point is that given this, the way that BTS kind of really made a decision that is very, very different from what others would have done, a decision that I'm sure that they are not oblivious to the fame and the influence that they have. So they knew what kind of effect that decision would have created, at least an approximation of the effect of it. It was quote unquote out of character. Like that wasn't something that they would have expected in a traditional setting. Like people would have thought like they wouldn't have just submitted and not say anything instead of actually telling everybody we're not going to submit. So that in itself is a message. Similar to emotional intelligence, yeah. So in I guess in Western we kind of call it like class. Not really. Um, there's really no equivalent. It's not really, I mean, just because you say something that would be inconvenient to other people doesn't mean that you're not classy, right? It's not, that's not. So it's just that the culture is so different that it's kind of hard to sort of compare, right? Because the foundation of the two cultures are very, very different. Theirs is Koreans, and the Asians in general, actually very, very communal. So there's always the conscious thought of you don't exist in this world alone. So you kind of have to think about other people, which I thought, I mean, that makes sense, right? But also, if you look at it from the point of view of the Western culture, well, you can't just allow all of your decisions to be dictated by everybody. That's kind of that also makes sense. So there's the foundation is so different that it's kind of hard to compare, I guess is how I would put it. But yeah, nunchi is like one of the most studied, and a lot of academicians in the US, Western academicians, have actually been very puzzled, interested about the entire concept. I guess because for Koreans, it's so natural for them that they're able to practice that aspect of their culture without being a pushover. Like they know exactly where the limit is. They know when to think about everybody else, and also they know when to impose what they want, or what they think is going to be good for them and their families. And unless you kind of grew up in that culture, it's kind of hard to understand where that line is actually drawn. So now the one thing about this is that it's not like, because most of the time, for them to kind of break away from that expectation, it's like it has to be like really bad. Like things have to be really, really bad. And so when BTS did that, it wasn't so bad to the point that there are lives at stake. So it was still very like surprising for many Koreans, even the ones that actually are already here in the US, have been living here for more than 20 years. They were still surprised, like, oh wow. Like that was the expression. It's not an oh wow because wow, you shouldn't have done that, but like wow, that's like gutsy for you to do, because there are certain things that they would sacrifice because of that's just part of their culture. Like, okay, well, we'll take that. Like, we don't have to go there because it's going to be inconvenient. We can just concentrate on other things. So for BTS to actually make that statement, to them it means that okay, this thing is that important to you. Like it is not just your art. For you, it's something bigger, is the signal that they got from that statement. So, going back to that foundation of their culture, the nunchi, um, it is all about thinking about the reading the room. Basically, you don't want to inconvenience a lot of people. You don't want to, and even when you're angry, you kind of still don't want to inconvenience. For as long as you can take it, you'll hold it back. um yeah. Okay. So but it's one of the most studied. If you want to read up a little bit more about it, it that's just that based on my experience, when you really don't have any clue about the culture in South Korea, or at least in Asia in general, it's very hard to compare. And the tendency of people to when you're trying to understand something is to try and compare it to something that you understand, right? Because that's the concept you understand. So you're kind of trying to compare, like, is it something like this? And when there is no comparison, there's just really no comparison. Okay. Um, Now there is there so part of it they said is that is Koreans rarely saying no straightforward. Like they would rarely say no straightforward. They would usually say it some in a different way instead of rejecting something outright. And it's all connected to the concept of saving face, the face. I'm sure that part you've heard of. That's pretty common in Asia. But it has no but saving face, though, the thing is that it's not just about, because the usual meaning for a lot of people when you say saving face, it's all about the person, right? You want to save face, like you don't want to be an embarrassment. You don't want people laughing at you. You don't want people thinking weirdly about you. But the deeper meaning of it is that it also is about allowing others to save face. So you also don't want to put them on the spot. It's not just about you. Again, we go back to that communal thinking. So if you want to save face, you also want others to save face. So they take great care in making sure that they are not putting other people on the spot, because they don't like humiliating other people, because that's not part of who they are. It for them, it does not add anything to them. It does not. Nothing like that is um, just common humanity. You want to try and give other people a chance to also save face. So so that when it is your turn to be in need of that, then people will help you save face. Something like that. I learned about this when I was learning the close equivalent of nunchi in Japanese language. I don't read Japanese. Mutual respect and consideration. Yeah. So and that kind of what happened with what BTS did, right? They kind of put the Grammys on the spot. The one thing, the saving grace of that entire move, and why many of my friends felt BTS kind of felt okay doing it, is that they're not really putting one person in on the spot. It was an institution. So it's like that. Okay, I kind of like, okay, understandable, understandable. You're not really going, excuse me, after one person. You're kind of fighting an institution, or you're directing your protest against an institution. So it's kind of okay to do that. Um, However, it would have been a different story had it been an actual person they're going against. Okay. So next, so that does not mean Korean culture, as I've said, avoids confrontation. Just want to make this very, very clear. Korea has a strong tradition of protest, institutional challenges. um, the cultural distinction is often less about whether one confronts than about how, when, and toward whom confrontation is expressed. I hope that's clear. So it's not really about what they are going to do, it's how they actually do it. And even to this day, Koreans continue to actually fight their own government if they think that they are doing something that does not agree with their culture, or does not promote what would be good for everybody else. So definitely not pushovers. I just want to continuously emphasize that, even if you think that I am repetitive, just want to make it clear. So there was actually a study and a guideline issued, and this is kind of, but there was a guideline issued by the Department of U.S. Department of Agriculture. Sorry, by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Guide to Korean Business Culture. They advised that American companies um, understand that Koreans rarely say no to things. They would usually say, "Yeah, it's kind of difficult to do this." When they say that, do understand that they're saying no. They're they just don't want to say it, because again, it's all about saving face. They don't like rejecting people because they don't like getting rejected. So they lay you down easy. So, and this is an actual guideline that the U.S. Department of Agriculture created and issued to everybody in the department, so that when they are dealing with Koreans, they know what they are hearing versus what they actually mean. Okay. Because in America, if you say something like, well, that could be difficult, the answer is that, well, then let's just find a way to get it done. Like, if it, for as long as it's difficult and not impossible, then probably there's a way for us to get this done. But for them, when they say, yeah, it's kind of difficult. And you hear this a lot in translations, in English translations of Korean sentences. You would often hear that, like, it's difficult to confirm, it's difficult. They're actually saying no. In a different way. Okay. Um in the Philippines, dummy dumb in the Philippines. Oh my god, this is gonna be embarrassing for me. Okay, so in the Philippines, it's like it is having delicadeza. So that's a Filipino word which I think originated from Spain. And I don't know the meaning of it, but it's a Filipino word. Okay, so in the Philippines, we have about 180 ethno-linguistic groups. And so there's a lot of Filipino words that I actually do not understand. That's one of them. All right. Like when President Yungi implemented martial law, the people immediately responded. Yoon. Okay, President Yoon. Yes, yes, that's one example. When he implemented martial law, Koreans made it very, very clear to their own president, we're not going to take that piece of yeah. So they know how to fight. They know how to fight, especially when they know that this is a matter of life and death. We're not going to go through that again. We're going to fight you. Definitely not pushovers. Okay. But for as long as they can avoid it without having to get to that position, without having to do those things, without having to protest, without putting people on the spot, they will try. Okay. Um, so that is the word for saving face, chemyon. So it's not just about protecting yourself, allowing yourself to not be put on the spot, but also other people. You also have to think about other people. So it's not it's for them it's not always about victory in an argument. It's more about if we can walk away from, for example, if we can walk away from this argument or this standoff or this fight without having to actually fight, we will try and do that. Like we will both find a way on how to get out of this so that we can settle things when there aren't people around. Okay. You don't want public humiliation on yourself, also on other people. So that probably explains why the way that they phrased their statement, they're not actually saying, and they never even hinted that Grammy is racist. They did not say that the category is insulting. They simply said, we're not going to submit and we want our music to be heard for what it is. So, because they don't want to accuse anybody of doing anything that is bad, they just want to communicate what they want to do. Now, for them, that's very cultural. For us, it's maturity, maturity emotionally, maturity when it comes to language. For them, something like this is so natural that probably even a grade school person, like a grade school student, will probably resort to this kind of communication because it's innate in their culture, as opposed to the West. This kind of communication strategy you kind of learn in college or when you specialize in communication in PR, because it's not innate, right? Because for us it's very, very straightforward. If we want to say something you're is a piece of then we'll just say it. I'm kidding. Okay. BTS Grammy announcement was epic, period. But now, while I'm considering how to say things, people often think I'm thinking up a lie. First of all, they didn't boycott, they just said that they weren't participating. Okay, so in other words, what they were pointing out to me is that the decision itself to not submit to the Grammys, walk away from it all, and even their decision to sort of just the fur of my the hair of my dog getting into my nose. Okay. So the decision itself to walk away from the Grammys, that's not really culturally unusual. It's very common for South Koreans to do something like that, especially if they think that you are trampling on their right or whatever. That's very common. It's actually how they deliver it that's kind of unorthodox for their culture. Um, okay, next. All right. So BTS challenged a much more powerful institution publicly. And as I've said, usually you'll expect that from Koreans when there are when it's life at stake, when it's something really, really grave. So when BTS did it, the message that Koreans got, because this is their culture, the message that Koreans got is that this is something really very important to you. For you to fight a huge institution in America, for you to walk away from that, then it must mean that this thing, what this represents, is something very, very important and critical to you. um a lot of people are, so you know how some people are framing the decision as if this is BTS sour graping, or that this is BTS knowing that they're not going to win anyway, so might as well walk away from it so that they don't get humiliated yet again. But culturally it's so the opposite of it. very, very much the opposite of it. For them to challenge that big, big institution that they actually once wanted, right? They said once that they wanted to win a Grammy. It must mean for them to put up a public fight, quote unquote, it must mean this is life and death for them. So what that symbolized is something very important for them. So it's the opposite of what people are saying. If people think that they did it because they are sour graping, no. They did it because it is big enough for them to fight. Okay, hope that made sense. Okay, so um we don't need but what they're essentially saying is that we don't need to participate in the system badly enough to accept its terms. So what they are prioritizing is something way more important than what they initially wanted, which was a Grammy award. They got to a point where they just realize or just know that no, this is not, we want it, but not enough for us to compromise our belief, our principles, and that's why we're walking away. Okay, so this is what about the SK critic who put forth that interpretation? What interpretation that they are just sour graping? There will always be many of these reporters that are saying like, "Oh, BTS was just sour graping," or they know that they weren't gonna win, or blah blah blah. Um, Many of them, if you look at the history of the things that they've written, they've always been against BTS, they've always been anti-hype. And one of the things that I've kind of realized is that many of these people aren't really fans of anything or even other artists, and they're not even fighting for their own principle. They just kind of want to insult BTS. They're just more of a BTS hater than they are a fan of their own principle or any other group. So I have never encountered an article criticizing what BTS did that did not reek of an anti BTS or anti Big Hit or anti Hype history when I look at it. It's always like that. Someone sends me an article of someone criticizing BTS, I look at the history of the writer and I'm like, yeah, of course you will. You've always gone again. You've always looked for anything, any way you can criticize BTS and Big Hit. So it wasn't really surprising. Okay. So then the other thing, and this I've kind of mentioned in the past, and I've actually talked about this in a bit more detail in my members only live stream. But Hollywood is very, very cliquish. And it's a very interesting industry which has its very own culture. And in the last several years, we've kind of heard a little bit more about it on how janky it is, how shady the entire industry is. And the closer you get to it, the more you kind of realize just how cliquish it really is to the point that if you go against one of them, you can count yourself out of any kind of a significant career. So because because it's cliquish, very cliquish. Like if you go against one, you're just going against everybody else. It's not that you won't have work. There certainly have been a lot of actors who've built a very, very good career without having to submit to what Hollywood actually wanted them to do. But if you want to get to the very top, like be able to, like you have to just submit to them. And so BTS being closer to that, closer to Hollywood, almost being inside it, they know what they're actually doing. They know what they're risking and they know what they are compromising. So when they issued that statement and they went against the very institution, remember, Grammy is not just Harvey Mason Jr. and it's not just Zena Koda. Grammy is all of the members that are signed under it. It's everyone who's ever sought its validation, submitted their song for the Grammys, pay their membership, and it's everyone that's connected to all of those institutions. It's a web basically. And so when you go against that when you question the institution, you're kind of questioning everybody else that's a member of it. Okay, so that's kind of gutsy. Um, for them to actually say, yeah, we're not going to submit to you, it's very gutsy because they know what they could possibly be compromising. And the thing is that they want to continue promoting in the US, right? Nothing has actually, they haven't been affected at all by what they said in any significant way. They have their world tour, they're breaking records, they're changing the industry, they're setting up new business patterns. And but the fact is that they still want to continue promoting in the US in the future because they you have seven members with their own individual careers. And so it's kind of mind-boggling that they did something like that, and knowing that they will continue promoting in the US in the future. I think that only goes to show that they're very confident that they're not going to be affected by this. They are, if there's anything that we know about these seven men, is that they're all of them are very, very smart. It's almost freaky that Big Hit managed to put together highly intelligent men. So they know absolutely the consequences of their actions. Um, what I think they are sort of creating uh, unexpectedly is their own industry, like the Hollywood of the Hollywood, like Hollywood outside the Hollywood. I guess the Outsiders Club. That's kind of what they are sort of creating now that they have proven that they do not need to be in the beck and call of Hollywood and still manage to actually generate this kind of attention, then they're proving that you don't need to submit to them in order to have this kind of impact and have this kind of popularity. You can do it on your own for as long as you do it right. And so that sort of answers what someone actually said something about other people wanting to form a clique with BTS. I think this is the answer to that they're sort of unexpectedly creating that kind of a, not really a clique, but an industry outside of Hollywood, and proving to everybody you can have a successful career without having to submit to that. The only thing okay, we'll get to that. Um, who were also not afraid of working hard and pushing against the system. Yeah. Um, so what essentially, just going back a little to the culture, what essentially happened was that they did it through a very Korean method. The way that they communicated it, the way that they dealt with it, non-confrontational to a certain respect, the choice of their language, that's very Korean. Again, it's about saving face. You don't want to embarrass anybody. You don't really want to cause any kind of like discomfort. So it's a very Korean method. But the outcome was very American because they essentially uh, went against the a very big institution in the United States. So it's them saying, "Yeah, we simply want our music to be appreciated for what it is," instead of saying, "You suck, we're rejecting you." That would have been a very American way. You'd still explain and be reasonable about it, but you would also say like straight up, "You suck." Yeah. But they didn't do it that way. They're like, "Nah, we're just not going to submit. We're not asking anybody to not submit. We are not submitting." And then there's another thing. You know how Koreans are very, very much about hierarchy, right? It's part of it's even within BTS there is hierarchy. That's why you have Youngs and Maknae line. You have everybody calling everybody Young when they're older, and the oldest one actually pays and he eats first, and all of those things. Like all of their everything is designed around hierarchy to the point that when they see each other or when they meet each other, the first thing that they ask is your date of birth, because from there they establish how they're going to be dealing with each other. And so the equivalent here is that Grammy is supposed to be an institution that BTS is actually looking up to, that they're actually giving way to the Grammys and whatever. But nope, now it's just BTS is equivalent, that like we're the same level now, which is not what you would have expected of Koreans, because they were all about hierarchy. So just want to emphasize, I'm not saying that they are pushovers. They definitely know how to fight. We've seen that happen. We still see that happening to this day. Okay. So that is what's the fascinating about what they did culturally. They publicly challenged one of America's most powerful music institutions while using a remarkably restrained Korean style of language to do that. Right? They did not put anybody on the spot. It was the concentration was on them. They're saying that we're not going to submit, and we just hope this is going to happen. Therefore, we're not going to submit. They did not say anything about the Grammys. Um, as RM said many times now, how doors were closed for them, so they had to create their own path or doors. They didn't really call anybody out. They just instead ate it. Okay, so now moving into the Grammys, or segueing into the Grammys. So a lot of people are like, also, I feel like overstating what BTS can actually do for the Grammys. The truth is that I don't think that BTS is the only one that can save them, that can save the Grammys when it comes to commercial impact. Taylor Swift is expected to attend because The Fate of Ophelia will most likely be nominated, and she'll probably win many awards. So she's definitely expected to attend. And this is going to be a TV moment in the US because she just got married. So she's never had like a public appearance after the wedding. This most likely be the first, unless she decides to do something before the actual award ceremony in February. So this is going to be a moment. Like a lot of people are actually going to be watching and just to see her. And they most likely she's going to be winning many awards, and it's going to be a triumph because she's a newlywed woman. So all of those messaging. So that, I think, kind of gives the Grammy some confidence that they are going to get the ratings that they need in the US. Okay. So, because a lot of people are overstating it, like, oh, BTS need, the Grammys actually need BTS for the ratings. They're not the only ones that can give Grammys the ratings. They're one of the few ones that can give Grammys the ratings, but they're not the only ones, certainly. Okay. So, now for us to kind of understand what happened, we need to look at the ratings history of the Grammys. Because the Grammys is a US institution and supposedly created to honor US or American songs. Also, because the US is the highest paying when it comes to advertising, all of those where they actually get their sponsorship, their primary target market remains to be the US. So when they track their ratings, they concentrate on the US because that's where they're going to be making money. They were actually doing fine. 2018, 2019, 2020, they were doing fine. Okay. So trouble started, and this is when they kind of realized that trouble is in the horizon, because in 2021, when everyone was still at home, they plunged. Actually, 2020, they started plunging already. Although the ceremony back in 2019 happened February, and the lockdown started. So it's 2020. The ceremony happened February, I think, and the lockdown happened third week of March, if I'm not mistaken. So they're still okay there. Supposedly they were supposed to be okay, but they were still starting to go down. Now 2021, there was still a lockdown, and people were expecting that there will be more people watching them because people were at home. So everyone was expecting, well, people are home, so then you should have better ratings. Instead, people started tuning into YouTube, TikTok. So when their ratings plunged from 18.7 to 8.8, they knew something was wrong because it totally went against what was expected. That wasn't supposed to be the behavior of the market. They have time to watch now because they're at home. Why did they not watch? So this is that is actually a more telltale signs. That was a more alarming part of their history than anything. Now, when they went back to 2022, this is when BTS performed. They recovered. So from 8.8, they went 9.6. So that was a good sign for them, and one of the very first times when they kind of realized that BTS has a pull, because they managed to recover some of what they have lost because of BTS. 2023, that was when the first full return actually happened in physical space. They still did not go back to their glory days of not even close to 18%. They were at 12.5%. 2024, this was when Taylor Swift actually made history. And I think this is, he got four awards. 2025, Beyonce broke the all-time nomination record, and then 2026 is their final CBS partnership Grammy Award ceremony. And they still haven't recovered fully. And so they knew that there's something wrong if after pulling, they realized that, okay, so now we have to resort to having two superstars. So that would be actually three, because Adele was also there. So they realized that we have Taylor Swift, we have Adele, and we have Beyonce all in one night, plus all other superstars. And we still didn't go back to our old glory. That's telling us something. If you have all your big guns, if you have everything in your arsenal out for a fight, and you still did not manage to go back to your old glory, then you know that there is something deeply, deeply wrong. Okay. So that's why that's when they started to kind of face what was really happening. And one of the things that research proved is that what they are losing is the younger market. So they still have the older market. They're still watching you. But when it comes to the younger market, they're not there anymore. So they plunged 20% among young adults in their final year of CBS. It was worse before that. So that's their problem. And it is a problem. So the biggest drop off came among young viewers of the Grammys. The age range is 18 to 34. The decline was 20%. So what they're actually realizing is that, sure, we have the older generation still watching us, but the up and coming generation that will become the consumers of the future, they don't believe in us anymore. They don't care for us anymore. And that's just the beginning of the death of an institution. When the incoming generation does not care about you anymore, if they do not think you're valuable, they're not watching what you're giving away, they don't believe in what you stand for, that's the beginning of your decline. So Grammys kind of saw that coming. They realized, oh my God, we're dying. We're gonna have to recover this. Because imagine that. Just imagine all in one night you have Adele, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and you still didn't manage to even surpass your 19%. You stayed at 16.5%. Man, you're in trouble. Because if you have the three biggest in the industry coming together for a night, you'd be expecting half of America to watch you. So they dug deeper, and this is what they found out. What they were losing was the younger market. And this younger market is kind of like very, very puzzling to deal with. They have a very strong idea of what they believe to be respectable, to have integrity, they because they're so exposed to everything all at the same time. It's easy for them to discern who are the ones that are just posers, who actually have credibility, at least in their own understanding. So that's that's the realization for them. Oh my God, we're dying. What we have are the older market. How long are they gonna be there for? Right? So that's also one said I'm almost 52. I must be ancient. So nearly, here is a research. This was back in 2021, but there is a research. Nearly 98% of the younger market in the US did not tune into the Grammys on Sunday. 98%, they did not care. That's their realization. Okay, so it plummeted for this was back in 2020. Yeah, this was back in 2026. It plummeted 16.4% overall, with double digit drop among young viewers. So they know that's the problem. It's not really that no one's watching, it's just that the people that are watching are from the older generation. And that's not going to carry them through the next 10, 15 years. And if you're Harvey Mason Jr., you certainly do not want to go down in history of the Grammys as the CEO who started the decline or the descent of the Grammys. So they're trying to do something about it. So I think they know that. I don't think Grammy thinks that BTS will be their lone, not long, but lone rating savior. I think they know that BTS actually brings something else much more valuable, and that is integrity. I'm not saying that they're the only ones who have it. It's just that what they did, turning away from the Grammys, that's a statement of integrity, and they're one of the most respected in the industry when it comes to that. So when you have that group saying, yeah, no, we're not going to submit to this, that puts into question their integrity. BTS kind of walked away with it unknowingly. Does that make sense? When you can predict, wow, I'm still part of the young viewers. When you can predict who's going to win the major Grammys even before the respected artists release their album, there's no respect or prestige. Yeah. So that's kind of what they're losing when BTS made that move. It's the integrity of the award, right? They lost that already. They can, and I think what they're, because if I were to advise the Grammys, if they come to me and ask like, fairly, what are we going to do, just my advice would be continue with the award for 2027 and then revise that. Like shut up and just revise that for 2028, but continue with the award. So that might be the advice that they got. They might continue with the award. I don't know what they're going to be doing, but they know, and everyone else knows, that the integrity of the award is already compromised. BTS walked away with it unknowingly. So what BTS represented is not really ratings, it's the integrity of the institution. Okay. Um so the message is very clear for BTS. They said don't tokenize us. We don't want recognition because we're Asian. We want recognition because the music is good. And unfortunately for the Grammys and for many other institutions, for the longest time, that became the default. We're gonna recognize you for your Asianness or for your whateverness instead of just recognizing you for your skill. And BTS is saying like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. Um, so the other thing that BTS did unknowingly is that they distanced themselves from K-pop. And I don't know if K-pop has actually realized this, because for the longest time, like fans like us kept on saying they're not K-pop anymore. Like BTS is not, they haven't been K-pop in a long time. And of course, they kept on getting pulled into that, like BTS is K-pop, BTS is K-pop. But with this move, BTS really separated themselves from K-pop because remember, no one followed, not even their own agency, the artists from their own agency, no one followed. So this is them really distancing themselves from the institution. They're saying we're not gonna do that thing that everyone else in K-pop is doing. So this is most likely as a really tangible step for BTS walking away from K-pop, because they're saying that we're not gonna join you in that. Like you can have your meal, go ahead and enjoy it. We're not gonna join you. Fairly, and I think K-pop realizes that they have distanced themselves. You think so? Because they are beyond K-pop. I don't think it has sunk into K-pop yet. I don't think they realize. They're kind of slow when it comes to things like this. And primarily because they have demonstrated that their leverage has changed. They have really proven to everybody that we have that one thing no one else has, and that is the ability to walk away and challenge an institution like the Grammys and not suffer any kind of consequence. So this is really them distancing themselves from that. When do you think the change happened with BTS no longer being K-pop? What era? Wayang Yonwa. I think the minute they released that, it was like, what the hell happened? They just created their own institution. I'm not even joking. I think it started Wayang Yonwa. Yeah. It was just that's very un-K-pop. Um, K-pop is really. I know people are gonna. The reason I don't like challenging talking about this is that people are gonna say, "Why are you boxing K-pop into one thing?" Whatever. K-pop is not whatever. Okay. But wayang yonwa. Primarily like because that is a very and K-pop it's actually not even pop. No K-pop. Like that entire setup, the way that they actually narrate like they spread that narrative across different media, set the entire fandom into our own investigative mode or whatever. Yeah. Wayang yonwa. It's just that people keep on pulling them back to it because they can't accept that. But anyway, yeah, wayang yonwa is the answer. Um, VMA has not realized that yet. However, the mere fact that BTS themselves acknowledged VMA is a statement in and of itself. They acknowledged it in their official X account. They said that we're happy to be nominated, whatever. Um, and I think it's because it boils down to one thing. Number one, they're nominated in the major category for Song of the Year. Second is that the category is K-pop. It's not Asian pop. It's very clear. It's K-pop. Now that category does not exclude anybody based on race. Their SB19 I think is there. Are they? I think they're nominated. There's one who's not Korean. Um so he's very yeah, so there is one act that is not Korean in there, but they're nominated. So it's a statement that for as long as the category is based on genre, we have nothing against it. It's just that the category in Grammys is geography based. That's what they're going against. They gave Cat's Eye K-pop nomination, yeah. So it's a genre that so for it's a statement. I mean, they acknowledged it formally, right? So that is them saying, yeah, we don't care if non-Koreans get nominated in the K-pop category because that's a genre. The same way you may be nominated in the hip hop category, rap category of the Grammys, even if you're not African American, because it is not race. It's not about race, it's about the genre. So that's kind of the same principle. So I think them acknowledging VMA is a statement in and of itself, which actually flew over the head of a lot of people. But the minute I saw that acknowledgement, I was like, well, yeah, that's a statement in and of itself because they rejected the Grammy category and then they acknowledged being nominated under the K-pop category in AMAs and the Song of the Year category. Okay. So yeah, they have since definitely uh demonstrated that the leverage has changed. It's different now. They can walk away from something as big as this one. But and they did that without BTS did not need they did not threaten the Grammys, they didn't launch a campaign, they certainly did not ask anybody to not submit. They did this on their own. They didn't say anything to about Harry Mason Jr., the CEO of the Grammys. They didn't ask Army to boycott the show. They simply said we're not going to be submitting. So at this point, I think the Asian Pop Performance Award is tarnished. They could still give it away, but it would always be like, yeah, right? Like, That's, and that's actually why I was very surprised the first time Grammys sort of released that statement that they were reconsidering the category, because I thought like, wow, that's the point of no return. You can't undo that. You cannot undo the damage that it created for that category. Um, Okay. So NBTS did not have to do anything about that. I mean, next year, yeah, it is so tarnished. Army is perfectly capable of organize itself into a boycott. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We know how to boycott. Okay. So they didn't have to do anything. So and I think this is a really, really great lesson when it comes to just, I guess I don't even know how to call it, maybe corporate move. Um, I don't know, programs or whatever. I don't know how to classify this, but it's just so odd that the Grammy lost control of what they created even before they sent it out. Like they were the ones who created this category and they lost control of it. Like how does that happen so fast? Like you couldn't do anything with that thing that you created. You just lost control over it. I think this has to be studied. I would be surprised if this does not become a subject of study in the future when it comes to corporate moves, business products, product creation, product. I don't know, but this has to be a study of something because it's just magnificent, just amazing, absolutely impressive how they managed to lose control of something they just created even before they send it out to the world. Usually, you would create something, it becomes extremely successful, you lose control over it, right? Like there's nothing you can do about. Here, no, they haven't even sent it out to the world and they lost control over it. This has to be a study of something. I would be very disappointed with humanity if nobody studies this. Harvard Business School is creating a study even as we speak. I'm sure. I'm sure someone is picking this up as a thesis subject. Oh my god, how short is her skirt? This is one of her like most popular profile picture. I mean, this is just how she dresses, I would assume. So, but it is short, yeah. But nice legs, right? Okay, so the other thing is that it actually puts into question all the classifications that they created now. The main difference is that, because I was going through like all the categories that they created, they certainly there were some categories they created that they actually resulted into something good, like hip hop, like rap, for example. Eventually, rap just became so widely accepted that to this day they actually battle it out with other genres in other major categories. So not that it has never worked. It's just it's going to put into question all the classifications that they have actually created from now on. Because don't care to look at that. Sorry, don't care to look at code. So because it people kind of realize that for the Grammys, when they want to create representation, if they want to be inclusive, the solution is to create a category. But for BTS, if inclusivity means that we don't need a category, we're just competing against everybody else in the same lane as everyone else, where everyone else is. So the approach, I think that so as I've said, has this ever worked before? Certainly, one of which is in the rap category. It has worked. They created the rap category, and then now just rap is so integrated in everything in the Grammys. So that kind of worked. Um, Also, when the very first winner of the best rap performance in 1989 was DJ Jazzy, and the Fresh Prince for Parents Just Don't Understand. They have come a long way. And then the main difference though is that rap is a genre, Asian pop is not. So that I think is very major error. That had they named this something else, had it been like best K-pop, it would have been received differently maybe. But because they lumped all Asians in one category, I think that became the main problem. Thank you, Fairy. You saved us from the continued onslaught of words. So I think what the solution should have been was a bottom to top kind of program. So you make the voters more knowledgeable about K-pop, about Asian pop. You make sure that Asian artists are eligible. You educate the voters. You make this a part of your program. You encourage submissions. You change nomination practices, and you increase Asian representation among Academy members instead of doing it from the top. Like, okay, let's create it so that next year we can have a category for Asians. I think it should have started from the bottom and probably not something that the Grammys is used to doing, exposing or immersing the entire voting body into a new genre. I don't think they're used to doing that. And it could be a function of the nature of the members. They're all very busy. So to call everybody to be a member of the academy, to call everybody to do something, that's kind of very difficult. So maybe that's a hard ask for them to educate their members. It's kind of hard ask, and it's going to take a while, but it's really the only way when you can start guaranteeing a level playing field for everybody. Yes, it's the Latin song category, another new one. Yes, K-pop is seen as a genre, but Asian music was a bad move, but BTS isn't and shouldn't be a part of that. I think a lot of the members don't understand K-pop and view it as Frankenstein. Yes. They said that they wanted it to be a surprise. The Academy is who got surprised. Well, it certainly was a surprise. Not a very good one, though. Not a very good surprise. So, so yeah, I think it's you'll appreciate more what BTS actually did once you understand the nuances of their culture, especially when you hear it from, of course, nobody can explain it better than an actual Korean. So hearing it from my friends talking about it, explaining it to me, how that was like such a simple move, communicates so much to Koreans, you'll be able to appreciate more the gravity of what they did, because I really was able to appreciate that, oh, this is not just them making a statement of not wanting to be, because that's how a lot of people understood it. Okay, BTS does not want to be categorized under they don't want to be segregated under um just Asian category. It's more than that, like all the things that they had to sacrifice and all the things that the implication of the move itself kind of communicates volumes on how they think of art and their art in general. Um, yeah, that's it. I hope I was able to communicate it well. And if there's any other Koreans like locals that can, I'm sure if they take on the topic, they'd be able to communicate it better, like say it better, explain it better. So I'm hoping that this video will just reach someone, a local, that will actually take on the topic and explain it better. It was a surprise to me too when BTS announced it. It was not a very good surprise. I mean, when the Grammys announced it, it was not a very. It was a surprise, okay, but not a very good one. They were counting on BTS to legitimize the category. This was great, thank you. Who is going to determine if the song is meaningful when they don't know the language? Not just shocked with what they did, they were unprofessionally defensive. So they said, when they said meaningful, it wasn't like meaningful like substance. It was just like meaningful, meaning it has to play an important part in the song. Like for example, apathy, for example, would have been um that would have been qualified, not because the song has depth. It does not have any kind of depth. It was just like it was just a drinking game. So it's a novelty song. But because the part apathy, 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 and it's not even a Korean word, by the way, but the way a Korean would actually pronounce apathy. But that in itself, because it's meaningful to the song, meaning the way that they used it, it became the central part of the song, then that would have qualified. So it's not really about substance. It's just like the role that that line played in the song. Now, for apathy, because that was like the hook of the song, it would have qualified. I mean, the entire song is in English, right? Except for that part. It's Konglish, yeah, Konglish. Um, When Coda blamed BTS for tearing it down, when all they wrote was a simple decline, that was way off base. That definitely like this destroyed the entire thing. Like what Coda did when she posted all of those things, I think that was like it wasn't even the final nail in the coffin. It was the coffin, it was the raw materials for the coffin, and then she nailed it. Yeah. So, I think if the statement actually stopped with Harvey Mason Jr., there would have been a way out if it stopped. If nobody else talked, if it was just Harvey Mason Jr., they would have had a way out. But she followed it up. Like she just went on a barrage of messages and posts that were just way off base. And I think that was it. That was the point of no return for the Grammys. It wasn't. I think they could have made peace with some, like they could have compromised or something. But the minute she said it, that was like, oh, you're. That was that. That's the end. Where she ended up at, she's still on private. So all of her social media, they're still in private. I actually emailed her asking for her statement. She did not reply. Um, she You can still get in touch with her. Her own website is still up. And on her LinkedIn page, it still says she is a vice president for Universal. So, yeah, but I would have, if like I this is gonna follow her for the rest of her life. I mean, Army still remember the names of the people that did something against BTS back in 2013. If I mention the letter B, you would know who I'm talking about. That's how good the memory is of Army. So this Coda person, 10 years down the road, if I say Coda, you would still know who I'm talking about. There's like, those are embedded in our brains. So unfortunately for her. So yeah, that she did it though. Okay, 2013 was significant and B had an You see, you still know who I'm talking about. What is that? Like, I don't know, 12 years has passed and you still know who I'm talking about. You could say Yoda too. So yeah, unfortunately for her, armies don't forget. There might be new armies who wouldn't know who she is, but there will be older armies who will educate the new armies who this person is. Like when I did that video for that rapper who talked about like J Hope and whatever, I didn't mention the name. And that was on purpose because I don't want people to be digging out like his connection with that person with B person. I don't want people to be digging into it because it doesn't have anything to do with the B person. And still armies managed to find out who the person was. I made it a point not to mention his name. But unfortunately, I just found someone on TikTok selling their tickets for 250 ticket for September 1. Oh, I commented on the video fearing I said I knew he was connected to be. Okay. Um do you want emotional support pics and then we'll do updates after? You see, I don't even just one letter, and you all know who I'm talking about. So, unfortunately for her, if I mention her name 10 years from now, you will know exactly everything that she did. Okay. Where is that? Where is my emotional support pics? Here. I'm going to start big with the units. This is your V Hope. Can we call her a K? ZK. Sounds like CK. Okay. That B person sounds perfect. We have V Hope. V Hope. They're really becoming close. Well, they've always been close. I know. I'm just saying that. I do remember J Hope said that when she lost when he lost his grandmother. It was actually V who was there for him, and my guess is that V kind of knows how it feels because we know how close he was to his grandmother, so he can probably like really empathize with him. So sweet moment between the two. Didn't she call us a mafia? We've been called so many names. Okay. And then this is my favorite picture. So I saw the entire clip. There is like a shadow sparing that was happening on stage. So it was so cute. They were like play fighting. But this specific moment that was captured was just like the best for me. And it was actually on TikTok. Someone actually converted it into a trailer for a movie. So they edited it along with other, just go to TikTok and search. They edited it along with other clips, and it became like a trailer for a movie, and it's going to be shown this Christmas. But I love that entire bit when they were fighting each other on stage. But it was also good to actually look at Jungkook still execute the moves perfectly of Taekwondo. Nice click, Jin. Yeah, nice. And they're, as you know, they're always all over each other. So this is Jungkook trying to put his hand inside Jin's shirt. Okay. More. So this was the moment when Jungkook actually kicked the shoe of Jin. So I think he was. It was actually half off already, and he was showing it to Jungkook, and Jungkook decided to just kick it away. So he had no. Oh my god! When I first saw this, when I first got this, it was just the picture. I did not see the video first. It was just a picture. I thought RM had a shirt with Jin's face printed at the back. That's how I saw. I was like, "Ah, why does he have a shirt with Jin's face printed at the back?" And and then the next thing that I saw in my inbox was the actual video of Jin approaching RM, telling him what he wanted to do, and RM was like, "Okay, fine, whatever." But it was so funny. I really thought it was just a shirt. And he was so happy with what he did, by the way. Jin was so happy with it. Yunmin. I haven't seen a picture of them in a while. So there's your Yunmin picture. That is going down in history. I want that clip of Jin on arms back in the documentary. Okay, you're the Yunmin. The Yoongi and his stress ball. RM said that he was using Jimin as a stress ball. Yoongi is looking so happy and fresh. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then Minkok. I think they were. Oh, this was the moment they were looking at the moon. They were both pointing at the moon. I because one of my favorite moments in Are You Sure was when they were sitting down and they were just looking at the stars. There's always something magical just when two people are just looking at the stars. So I love this moment when they were both looking at the star. Emotional support Teddy, Jim and Yonggi. This is one of my favorite pictures because I just feel like Jungkook has always been Suga's baby. Like that's his one of his like he's young. And he was collecting them. He has another picture of this with J Hope. So I feel like he's collecting them. But I love that he's actually holding he's holding the head of Yoongi. Oh, there's my tissue. I was looking for my napkin. Okay. More of Yoongi and Jungkook. More of Yoongi and Jungkook. This was actually a cutout from the picture, the group picture that they have. But they just look so much alike. I know that they are I know that people are going to say no, they don't look alike, but there are some angles when they actually look so alike. From Are you giving away tickets for LA? I want to go to the LA show. I think the best thing about BTS is that no matter how you mix them, they form great pairs. Correct. Yeah. No matter the mix and match. Okay, next. This was the naughty part. So he had like the shirt was ripped, his shirt, RM shirt. And then V went behind him and ripped it more. Verify the real money. No, I haven't gone to page. I'll check after this one. So he ripped the shirt of I was talking to you very verify the real lone yellow ball. I will check after the live stream. Okay, RM was talking and then V approached him and ripped his shirt even more. And RM did not know what happened. Like he was busy talking. He ripped it and then RM was like, "What happened?" Okay, I present to you the biceps and the chest, I guess, of V. He has a lot of pictures of him shirtless. You're gonna be happy. There you go. More of his biceps and abs and chest and shoulders. That's still V. So if you're V bias, I just love this smile. I love this look from him. There's another one after this one. I love that. I love the smile. So you get both the best of both worlds. You have the biceps V and then you also have the sweet V. V is wrecking me. He's pulling me from Jin. You don't have a choice. If he pulls you, you don't have a choice. And then you have the fierce V in performance. Okay. And the boxy smile V. I present to you the complete package of V. Love how he keeps on. Is V your bias? Are you talking to me? He's my bias in the I all of them are my biases. So they're my favorite in different aspects of it. So if you ask me if is V my bias, yes. Is Jungkook your my bias, yes. If is RM my bias, yes. I like them for different things. Okay. So you have a collection of shirtless V, different V. BTS is not K-pop. You're a blend of different types of genres of music. Thank you, V is my bias. Love this. I think he's very proud of his biceps. I'm telling you from being a 12-year army, eventually it's best to just give up and be OT7. They Yep. RM. Okay. I did not actually arrange this very well, but so this is your RM series. Jungkook. I'm sorry, it's really not arranged very well. But this came from the post of V. If you would remember, he posted and he was RM Jungkook was actually at the background. Where are these photos from? They are awesome. Their fan bases send it to me. The different fan bases, individual. I am in touch with some solo fan bases, non-toxic solo fan bases, and they send me stuff. RM. I don't know what's wrong with RM. He has a problem. My gosh. This is what happens. This is what happens when they're not busy. I'm gonna blame Big Hit for not loading their schedule and they have time to actually go to the gym. I'm kidding. Of course, I love that for them. But here's the result. There you go. Emotional support. Do you feel supported? I hope you feel very supported with this. So huge. Yeah. It's paying off. The gym is paying off. The training is paying off. Policy posted a picture of all of these tattoos, by the way, if you want to check out. I mean, Policy he has like become the BTS tattoo artist. I think it started with Jimin and then Jungkook, and now everyone's going to him for tattoo. BTS, I mean, to be fair, RM ripped off JK's shirt first. I mean, look at that, right? That's so unfair. Is anyone giving away tickets for SoFi Stadium because I want to go? Stay in Patreon. Sometimes people give it to me last minute. I have a ticket. I still have one ticket for Chicago. Oh, that's okay. Bye bye, RM. We go to Sugar. My niece gets her tattoos from Policy. I'm so jealous. Oh, I think you just have to set up an appointment way in advance because he has a lot of clients. I want to go to LA shows. Go to Patreon, just post there. And if anybody gives me tickets, then you'll be in the list. I know. So there's a funny army. So we know that he's been going to the gym. He's been working out. I'm talking about Suga. He's been working out a lot. So I love this picture, my gosh, of them under the rain. I love it. They're like they've surrendered to the rain. We haven't seen this since Goyang, day one. The rain is back. Um, okay, so that's him. This picture was actually funny. So the fan base sent it to me and said, "Oh my God, his armpit is so white." So there's another picture of this with his armpit actually showing, and like all of their armpits are actually really, really soft. Well, I don't know if it's soft, but they are white. Here, there's another picture. There you go. It was so funny. Yoongi. Armies are the funniest. Armpit, yeah, armpit. Okay, we're back to. All right, sorry, I wasn't able to organize it. I was planning on doing it the usual, like it's RM first and then Jin and whatever, but I did not have the time. The Black Henley was a great look on him. Okay, we are at Jungkook, the armpit folder. I don't have armpit folder. Okay, Jungkook, I love this look. I think this is his favorite sunglasses, by the way. Tofu took me out. Why did Yoongi mom say I'm as white as steamed dumpling? It is getting fuller, yeah. According to Policy, they're kind of like 80%, 70% done. So this was when Jungkook was taking off his shirt. He was gonna give it away. I guess he unknowingly took off the entire shirt. So someone took a picture of him. Um, but this was during the show. They were walking. He was going to give away the shirt that he was wearing. I love that they all started giving away the shirts that they're wearing now. Great for them. What? Okay. And then we enter the cute Jungkook era. Did this tank top pic showing Jungkook's tattoo finally dispel the dating rumor? Doesn't matter. It's not worth discussing. He can date whoever he wants to date, and he can not date whoever he does not want to date. Whether it's true or not, it's none of our business. Okay. So next, more of the tattoo. There you go. I only care. By the way, I only care that they're happy. If ever they in the future they go out in public and say they date, for as long as they're happy, I'm happy. I love that for them. Okay. Next, I love the shot because you can actually see how small his waist is. We often do not get a view of it because he's always wearing something loose. So I love it when it actually traces the shape of his waist. His neck is thick. Well, he's working out really bad. I love this shot of Jimin, by the way. Uh the fireworks. Whoever took a photo, just chef's kiss. This picture. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Like this is a perfect photo of Jimin. And then he also has he really has a dancer's body. And I actually like that he knows the kind of body that he wants to go for. I mean, he could go buff, but I think he's just really going for leanness rather than being buff because it's better for dancing for him. He does a lot of flying around, so it works for him well. Jimin, Robin, Jimin is your bias. Beautiful photo. This one, I love that too. I love the hairstyle on day two. He is lean and toned. Yeah. It's better for dancing, especially the kind of performance that he puts out because he jumps a lot. He really jumps a lot. So it's better for his knees for him to be lean more than bulky. These are stellar shots. It is. His workout routine is more stretching. Yeah. And I think body weight more than just lifting weight. Um, love this one too. Every time I see Jim and you scream, just like the stadium, like the entire stadium. Jimin. I was talking to a friend of mine who was like predicting their tour, and I said it's actually going to be for the next live stream. But I think the next BTS is BTS. Like it's the individual BTS members. If they hit 1 billion for this tour, for BTS to match 1 billion for their for their individual concerts, if they go on tour, each would have to average, just average. They would have to average about 125 million or something to match BTS's tour as a group because they keep on like looking for the I love this picture. Like, it's just perfect. But I do want more butt focused shots. After all, he promised a sculpted butt. He did say that his butt used to be unbelievable. Now it's just believable, but I think it's back to being unbelievable now. It's formally back to being unbelievable. So I'll try to get more butt shots for him. Love that. Okay. Sorry, I repeated that. Jimin looks like an Elven prince more and more with every concert. And then we have Jin, of course. Love the shot of him. He started pinning his shirt on his pants because I think he saw armies capturing his abs. And so he's seeing a lot of his pictures with his shirt pinned to his pants. And I'm like, this is the fault of armies. They should have made a private space where Jin can see and people could have just posted his abs pics there. Now he's pinning it. Okay. But I love this outfit, by the way. His cute belly. I love this outfit of him. So handsome. We love Jin's abs and tiny waist. I know, but he started pinning his shirt. I think he realized like armies are posting pictures of my abs, so might as well pin it. Okay. Jin shirt and tie guy. I love the tie. I love that outfit. Okay. Mid performance. And of course, you have Ajuma Jin. As if that's going to do anything with the rain, against the rain, but still cute. Yoongi is brilliant. He is brilliant. And we go to J Hope. You know, he photographs so well, especially when he does his performances. He just shimmers, by the way. That's how I described him. That's how I saw him when I first saw him in person. It's like he shimmers. He radiates the gloss out of him. Okay. Diva Jin, love all the looks Jin gives us. Yes. It's J in the States, correct. This is J. I love his mid performance photos. It's immaculate. Jimin has tan lines showing the outline of a tank top now. No skin bleaching. J Hope Sunshine manifest. He gets so embarrassed about showing off his great body. Um, yeah. I would love to know what waterproof makeup they are wearing. Ah, yeah. Watching him more move on stage is magical. And J. There's your J for everybody. I think this is my last picture. The alien's outfit J Hope wears takes me out. Ah, here's my last picture of his chest. Enjoy his chest. I do predict that he's gonna take that off at the end of the tour. or Jungkook is going to take it off for him. Matrix J Hope, yes. I think this is my last picture. Oh no, I have one more. There you go. Okay. Um, I don't think I have time to go through the updates. So, do I have one more? No, that's it. This is my last. Okay. So I don't think I have. I leave it out. Which picture do you want to look at the most? I'll go back to that while I do my closing. Do you want kung fu fighting? There. Of all the abs, sorry, of all the abs, biceps that you show, that I've shown you, this is the picture that you end with. Jungkook, if you can get more Yoongi on stage to do performance and just tank top, that would be great. You probably Jimin dancing is so fluid. Time, wow. Jimin's dancing. Jay's Hosok as August D is Yoongi. Jimin. Okay. So I don't think I have time to actually go through the updates. It's pretty good updates. But so I think on Wednesday I will do, for now, I think I'm going to do the unless something changes, something big happens. But for now, I will do the members only live stream. But I do recognize because some people requested if I can do it an hour earlier so that they can start watching the concert um, when it starts. So I'll check that out. I don't know how the timing works. So let me check that out. Um, but so I will most likely do the members only live stream on Wednesday, and then I'll do the public live stream on Friday. So for now, that's the schedule that I'll go with, unless something changes. Um, Earlier works for us in Europe, by the way. Oh, great. Yeah. There's also the option. Can you read my DM on Discord? Okay, Carol, I will read that. And then there's also like the option, as I've said, I'm trying to experiment with different things. So that there's the option of actually doing it earlier in the morning for Pacific, because for example, our 6 p.m., 6 a.m. is like 9 for Eastern. So it's not so like very early. But let me see what I can come up with. It also is going to depend on the some things that I will be doing in the next several months. I definitely want to finish the book before the end of the year. That's still the target. And so let me see what I experiment with. But for now, unless something changes, I will do my members only live stream on Wednesday, and then public live stream again on Friday, unless something changes. Okay. is and then if there's anything, any topic you want me to cover, anything that you want me to explain, just reach out to me. I will go to Discord and to Patreon after I eat. I haven't eaten anything. But early, like 9 a.m., most of us are at work and can't watch during the day. And the Big Nights guy said, what I love about them is that they are not pretentious and show so much care for fans. Remember to like, oh yes, please like the live before you leave. I'm so happy you're working on the book on a deadline. Yes, I have to. I raised funds for that. So that's very important that I finish it. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you either Wednesday or Friday. Bye.